You're in the right place at the right time. This is Maurice Jackson. Welcome to Proven and Probable. First and foremost, thank you. We just surpassed, and I mean we, meaning you and I, we just surpassed over 6.5 million views on YouTube. And earlier this year, Mining Digital identified Proven and Probable as the third best mining podcast in the world. These accomplishments are directly through you and your support. I don't want to just verbally thank you. I want to demonstrate my appreciation. So for the next 6.5 hours of the release of this video to coincide with 6.5 million views, I'm going to sell to my subscribers 1 ounce Austrian Philharmonics for $26.69. Again, 1 ounce Austrian Philharmonics for $26.69 for 6.5 hours from the release time of this video. All you have to do is simply give me a call at 855-505-1900. You're calling me directly. You're not speaking to anyone else. I welcome the opportunity to meet and greet you as well if you haven't ordered from us before. Now, I began with saying you're in the right place at the right time. Frequently, from the Bullion perspective, what I hear from individuals, they tend to sometimes poke and they want to extract information, and then they will remain on the sidelines because they're attempting to time their purchase. That is a flaw I've seen frequently in my experience as being a broker for Miles Franklin Precious Metals Investments. The reason it is a flaw is that I am in contact with brokers. I'm in contact with the biggest names in the world. I don't know where the spot price is going to be in 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. Fundamentally, in my view, the precious metals will reward you because you're buying wealth. That's very important to understand. I'll get to that in just a second. But I'm looking to acquire ounces. And if you had a crystal ball, or if you had the foresight, if you will, to look beyond what you may see at the foot level and go up the elevator. If you went to the top of the elevator, what you would notice, top of the building in the elevator, central banks are net buyers of physical gold. You don't have to listen to what they're saying they're going to do in terms of interest rates. To me, it's noise. What I'm looking at is, what are they doing? They're net buyers of gold. Why? Why? The answer is simple. For our day-to-day transactions, yes, we use currency. But there is what's called a shadow banking system. That is the banking system that I'm referring to, that your central banks are accumulating and acquiring gold. Why? If the citizens don't use it, why is gold so important? Hence, why did the Bank of International Settlements determine through Basel III that gold would be a tier 1 asset? These are important fundamental movements within the monetary system that you must be aware of. But while you're waiting, those central banks are accumulating, but they're not alone. If you came down just a little bit on the elevator, you will notice that the institutions, you name whichever institution you wish, they are buyers as well, but they expand from not just to gold, they move into silver. On the retail side, that's you and I, we tend to focus more on the 1 ounce coins, and we may expand that narrative further into platinum, palladium, and rhodium. However, as I shared with you last time we met, you must be persistent and consistent. Your competition, which are the institutions, which are the central banks, they're not waiting. And if you're under the premise that there is a manipulation going on by third parties, I'm not here to discredit that. Not at all. Not at all. What I am here to do is I'm here to celebrate that it is being manipulated, because it allows me as a retail person, before all the competition comes, And the competition is going to be Joe Sixpack. And when he comes in, he brings in his friends, and they're all rowdy and rowdy because why? They've had their six packs. They've been given information at the last second, and it's very fear-based and emotion-based. When you're purchasing on a regular, consistent basis, the fear and emotion goes away. And if you take a second here to look back, I want you to think for a moment of all the channels that you may watch, and we're delighted and honored to have you here, and I'm aware that you're going to be watching other channels. What channel that you can think of in the last 5 years has asked and advocated and promoted the procurement for you to own platinum, palladium, and rhodium? I love gold and silver. They are and historically have been money. I talked about the wealth earlier. We released an interview with Rick Rule of Rule Investment Media, as well as in that interview, he interviewed our president of Miles Franklin, which is Andy Schectman. And Mr. Schectman made a very profound statement that precious metals, gold, silver, money, is wealth. Not your Federal Reserve notes, not your currency, but wealth is gold and silver. It has stood the test of time. Governments, emperors, kings, queens, presidents, prime ministers, you name it, they couldn't outlast gold. And so when you own that metal that the mainstream media refuses to discuss, you are owning wealth. And the more of it that you own, the wealthier you will become. It is a natural resource. The way I think of it is, if it's natural, it should be something you would want to do. And the more that I have of something that's natural, it seems intuitively to me that I tend to have more resources. And what I mean by that is I'm always adding to my position, and I'm never fearing that, well, if I don't add to my position in physical precious metals, then I'm missing out on this opportunity here. It's never worked out that way. It's always worked out the opposite, where if I've had the patience and I follow the ratios and I stick with my pattern of wanting to own more ounces, the other opportunities don't seem to go away. They seem to manifest themselves. Now, in reference to bullion and how you can benefit, I referenced platinum, palladium, and rhodium. Those three metals have had the highest returns for precious metals investors in the last 5 years. Yet, other channels don't discuss them. That's why it's very important for you to be here, the right place, in the right time. The reason I don't make several videos regarding this conversation is I'm not a me person, number one, but I did have my me moment right there. And I believe it was deserved because we have a proven pedigree of success. And when we share an investment proposition with you, it's not to toot our own horn. It's because we believe it's the best investment proposition for you. However, if you're using the ratios, it kind of gets boring. I'm not discussing those talking points that people want to hear. I just don't believe that that narrative needs to be conveyed. If you want to hear it, there's other channels for it. But to keep it simple, if you use the ratios, you'll see our success is practically unmatched when it comes to buying physical precious metals. And we offer all 5 of those precious metals through Miles Franklin Precious Metals Investments. The number again is 855-505-1900. I want to take another moment here to share that when you have precious metals and you wait and you wait and you wait, you make the error of only looking at the spot price. That is a big distraction. What you must be cognizant of, what are the premiums? You got to be aware of that. And everyone seems to overlook it. At this moment, the number of people procuring physical precious metals on the retail side, meaning individuals, is very low. Premiums have come down. This is your opportunity. As I referenced, you're in the right place at the right time. This is your opportunity. Again, let's go back 3 months ago, the banking crisis. And by the way, if you are under the impression that the banking crisis has resolved itself, there's a bridge that I'm doing a special on as well that I'm selling right now in New York for $2. Exactly. The banking situation has not resolved itself. Don't be fooled because the narrative is not on the news. We're hearing different narratives on the news about things that shouldn't be national news, but on the mainstream media, I'm aware of what they put out there. They're not discussing the banking crisis, and it is a dire situation. So if that hasn't resolved itself, that allows me to see the psyche of the retail person, because they're not hearing and not being fed this information anymore. Their emotion has been removed. The logic is there, but there's no action. The action should be keep it consistent and persistent, and you don't have to worry about the noise. Just buy. What am I buying right now? I'm going to buy some Palladium here. Palladium's coming down. I do believe that the ratio will match that of platinum. If it doesn't, I'm okay with that. Let it go up. I own Palladium. I'm one of the very few people that owns Palladium. This reminds me of Rhodium in 2017. Platinum, I'm buying platinum. I'm buying silver, and I recently bought some gold as well. The reason I bought the gold though wasn't for an investment purpose. It has something to do with something aesthetic. I'm having a belt buckle made, and it's going to be made of gold, and that's why I purchased the gold. Full disclosure. And that might be something in the future that we may also offer to you, are some belt buckles that we're working on with someone to see if the creativity and the demand is there in both regards, from the person making them, fabricating them, and then of course from you. We'll show them to you. But belt buckles made out of gold and silver, and then my belt buckle that I'm looking to have made right now is going to be of 90% gold, 22 karat, and then I have a sterling silver belt buckles being made as well. So again, a little sidetrack there, but that's what I'm buying. And you notice that I'm not sharing, I'm just buying gold or silver. I love all the metals, but the platinum group elements, that's where most of my focus is. But rhodium right now has come down significantly. But the time that I'm looking to buy rhodium is when rhodium reaches the price of gold. When those two are equal and rhodium is below the price of gold, yes, I'm buying again. Now let's segue on to resource stocks. We have shared a number of compelling value propositions that, again, the institutions have recognized, but the retail investor, or speculator, I should say, correction on that, speculator has not recognized. Here's what I mean. We did an interview with Metallic Minerals recently, and they had an investment from a strategic partner, a mining company, worth roughly 6 million, 5-6 million. Then their sister company, Stillwater Critical Minerals, same thing. We've interviewed them. They share they're coming out with a mineral resource, and they're having third parties look at them. And it doesn't happen overnight. And then what happens is the retail person, speculator, gets bored, and off he goes, he forgets. Again, Stillwater Critical Minerals just had a recent investment from a mining company, prominent name, in the millions, roughly around 5 million. Yet those companies bought at a premium of what the current price is now, and the price actually have come down since the announcements, and yet the retail person, speculator, has not been buying. There are other opportunities out there right now that we've shared with you that are finance opportunities. I'm going to release 2 more here this week, but Gold 79 Mines is a foot stomper for me, and Terra Balcanica is also a foot stomper for me. These are unique opportunities that they have actually, one of them has had to actually, Gold 79 Mines has had to discount their finance price from 4 cents to 3 cents. That is a gift. For whatever reason, consumers love it when there's a sale, but when you're into capital goods, we don't like sales. We want the price to go higher. We want to see some energy and activity. No, you want to buy early. You want to buy early. These are the opportunities. These are foot stompers for you. All right. With that being said, the other companies that are out there that we interview, they are on a significant discount. All you have to do is look at trading volumes, and you can see the share prices are depressed, in particular based on their in situ mineralization that they have. And you compare it with their market cap. Wow, what a deal. Finally, I want to conclude with saying the following. We will be at the Rule Symposium. The description box, or the registration for it, is in the description box below. I'm sorry. I'm looking forward to meeting you. You can be there physically, or you can be there virtually. I encourage you, if you've never attended, this is your opportunity to expand your neurons, expand intellectually, expand financially. When you hear the keynote speakers, when you get to hear Rick Rule, the Jim Rickards, the Andy Schectmans of the world, and they get to speak their own narrative versus a narrative from a different YouTube channel of the questions they're being asked. What you're hearing is information from the brightest minds in the natural resource space that are sharing with you how you can prepare yourself and how you can grow financially. The mistake I used to make was, well, the cost is A, I could take those same resources and buy precious metals or those companies you referenced. Wrong. The best investment you could ever make is an investment in yourself. That's the first investment, and that's what this is about. So when you participate in as a attendee of the Rule Symposium and or future symposiums that we will share with you, the next one I believe that we're going to cover will be the New Orleans Investment Conference. But this is your opportunity to grow and to invest in yourself, the best investment you could possibly make. Till next time, this is Maurice Jackson, wishing you and your family the absolute best.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.